crack. Shooting had stopped when the Reichsminister and his entourage had come onto the set. It was a set representing a wing in the Emperor's palace in 19th century Munich. Ludwig I, who had been the most flamboyant, if not the maddest of Bavaria's monarchs, had built it in the style of Venice's Palazzo Pitti. The lath and plaster walls and ceilings towered over everyone on the soundstage. Carpenters rather than courtiers stood back in the shadows. Despite the workmen's overalls and the motley dress of the film crew, the set had a grandeur to it that impressed. The art director had let history go to his head. He had also been influenced by the fact that half an hour's drive away in Berlin, similar monuments to a ruler's ego were being built. Though they, the boast went, were being built to last 1,000 years, and not, like this set, to be struck next week. Goebbels lingered, and Kathleen tried to keep up her part of the conversation. She knew it was banal, as bad as the dialogue she had been speaking for the past 3 months. Lola und Ludwig would never win an Oscar, and she knew it would do nothing for her career. But she had not come to Germany to further her career. The picture was a big, lavish production, sponsored by Goebbels himself as the minister responsible for films. It was the most expensive film so far produced in Germany, done in English and German, and aimed at the world market. Since the advent of the Nazi regime, German films had not done well in the foreign market, and Goebbels, so rumor said, had taken it as a personal slight. He and Hitler were the two film enthusiasts among the Nazi hierarchy, and both men considered themselves educated critics of what was good and bad in the cinema. It was no secret that Goebbels had great admiration for the Hollywood product, but the scriptwriters and the director on Lola und Ludwig had let him down badly, though so far he did not know that. It might have been better if they had forgotten Ludwig I and somehow linked Lola Montez with his mad grandson, Ludwig II. That way some of the ludicrous dialogue might have sounded, if not believable, at least entertaining. Kathleen knew the picture was turning out to be a real turkey, a messy mix of second-rate Busby Berkeley and third-rate Ernst Lubitsch. What it needed, she had decided, was Laurel and Hardy. They might have succeeded in turning it into a comedy classic. At last, the Reichsminister decided he had to go. He had sensed that Kathleen was not flattered by his attention. His mouth had turned sullen, and his dark eyes had lost their gleam of humor. He slapped his gloves against the palm of one hand, then pulled them on, despite the heat of the day. He was never seen in public without them, and though the image was ridiculous, he reminded Kathleen of the convent girls she had gone to school with. Gloves had been an obligatory part of their uniform. Goebbels had once been a Catholic. If he had worn gloves as a schoolboy, that was all he had left of his religion. "Goodbye, Fräulein O'Dea. We must meet again soon." The invitation was there, but she chose not to recognize it. He gave a curt little bow and was gone, his staff marching away after him like a pack of well-drilled guard dogs. They were all bigger than he, and once they closed in behind him, he was lost to view. He left no ghost of his presence. Small men should choose martial midgets as their entourage, or if they must have big men, be borne aloft on a ceremonial chair. But that, of course, would be too papal, and unlike Ludwig, he had no liking for things Italian, except, of course, Machiavelli. The studio executives breathed their collective sigh of relief, and they too departed. Karl Braun, the director, came across to Kathleen. Plump, pink-faced, and pretentious, given to gestures larger than his talents, he was everything that she despised in a director. It had taken all her control not to fight him from the very first day on the set. In Hollywood, he might have held a job on the Republic or Monogram lots. Here at UFA, which had once employed men such as Lubitsch and Lang, he was now one of the leading directors. Being a Nazi party member of 15 years' standing had its advantages. "We may as well break for lunch, darling." He always spoke English to her, in a thick, guttural accent that made him sound as if he were speaking through a mouthful of porridge. "The minister, I think, has spoiled the mood for all of us." "Doesn't he always?" she said, and walked away before Braun, a fawning party man, could protest that he had meant something entirely different from what she had inferred.